I know, I broke another one of my promises. I said no more uncrating. No, I said no more unboxing. This is uncrating, so technically it's not the same thing. Anyway, we just got in some more new toys. Last week or the week before, we did the uncrating of the Griffin. Yes, thank you. Griffin Commander preamp and the Apex amplifier. And that was fun. It really was fun. I was shocked at how relatively easy it was. Again, shout out to Jay's Audio Lab. Pussies, 4 guys to bring in an amplifier. Stefan and I, 2 of us, half your weight. Anyway, fun. Just kidding you. So, guess what we just received? The D'Agostino Relentless 800s. These are the monoblocks. Now, they're not as big, but they're still big and hefty. Somewhat more manageable. As a matter of fact, well, let me just talk about the exterior. Standard typical crates, 6 screws, 3 on each side at the bottom. So make sure, do not try to pry open, which was my first thought, thinking, okay, I need to buy a crowbar, crate, dismantle the crate, and then I thought, no, this doesn't make any sense. The guys at the factory are not that dumb, unlike me, so it's got to be simpler. And I took a closer look, and there it is. 3 screws at the bottom, and 3 screws over here, and there you go. So, first things first, we've already taken the screws out. This one's already out, so let's do this one. So Stefan, my lovely assistant, Vanna White, is going to do this now. So we're going to lift this. Okay, we're going to put this over here. And Allison, if you want to come around here. Ta-da! That's the beast. So I ordered it in the natural, what do you call this, silver? No, stainless, non-black version. So you can see the copper and the big, huge meter in the front. We're going to pick it up, 320 pounds each, and then we're going to put it on the ground here somewhere. We're going to take the plastic off, and then we'll put it over there. Allison can show, right over there. And the other one is going to be on the other side. So this way, this whole wall will be D'Agostino's with the Wilson XVX Chronosonics. But first, let me give you some details about the amplifier. I have my trusty cheat sheet. Okay, this is all new circuitry. It's based on the even bigger 1600 monoblocks. So this one is 800, obviously 800 watts into 8 ohms. Double that, 1600 watts into 4 ohms, 3200 watts into 2 ohms. Now, you can only get that much power if you have dedicated 240 volt lines, okay? So, we don't yet. I've already contacted our electrician. He's going to come sometime soon and give us 240 volts, one for each amplifier. So this way we can get all the power that the amplifier is capable of. Let's see what else. 4 kilowatt transformer in here, almost 4 kilowatts, and 84 output devices. That's insane. Okay, all right. New input stage. They're using new devices which deliver, according to the factory, 300% increase in current, 3 times more current, with wider bandwidth. The driver section, no negative feedback. There's a new bias circuit that gives it. From what I'm told at the factory, I went to visit the factory a couple of months ago, I think, and they were saying that all of the new amplifiers are capable of putting up to 10% of the rated power in Class A. So this one's rated 800 watts, which means 80 watts is pure Class A, which means most of the time that you're listening to, until you get into the big rock'em sock'em music and huge dynamics, then it goes into Class A/B. But otherwise, most of the time, voices and so on will be in Class A. Double the number of driver transistors. So before the output itself, which is over here, the output transistors are mounted to the actual heat sinks. The driver section, let's see, they have doubled the number of driver transistors. So each transistor has less stress, less to work on, and so should last much, much longer. And overall, it contributes to the lowering of the output impedance. New driver transistors can handle 33% more power each. Let's see what else. No global negative feedback. Oh, and one more thing. by doubling the number of the driver transistors, they've also almost doubled the current that goes into what they call the super rail. So the super rails is the next stage of the circuit, and this is something that D'Agostino pioneered originally, I think, with the momentum. And what the super rail essentially does is it's like a turbocharge. Imagine forcing or having access to a huge amount of voltage so that the output section can easily draw from it and produce virtually unlimited amounts of power. So that's what the super rail does. Technically or subjectively, it should give you even more dynamics, lower distortion, better bass grip for the speakers. Output stage, which is again the transistors over here, again 84 output devices, uses the same transistors as the driver section. So according to the factory, the reason they do that is so that there's continuity, there's no sonic issues, and technical consistency. Let's see what else. Every single one of these devices is put through their testing protocol to make sure that it measures the way it's supposed to from 0.50 milliamps to 5 amps. When I visited the factory, they showed us all these testing things, and in fact, I'll just tell you, inside there are obviously a number of boards, and all through the production, when the board is populated and soldered, they then put it into a jig, and the jig basically resembles this amplifier, and they put it through a test and make sure that that board is good. And then they go to the next stage where another board is populated and soldered, and then they put it into another jig, they test it and make sure it's okay. So every step of the production, they test it to make sure that this amplifier is 100%. Then when it's all done, they assembled it into the actual chassis, put it on a shaker board, a table where it's like shaken violently for, I can't remember how long, but quite a few hours to simulate shipping. And if there's any issues during that kind of very rough handling. If there's no issues, they finalize the testing, they measure it again, make sure everything's okay, and they pack it all up like this beautiful plastic wrap, put it into their crates, and then ship it out. So that's what it looks like when it's all done. The chassis is made out of solid aluminum block. They basically cut into the insides so that they can put all the boards in. And solid aluminum with copper to help. Obviously, copper is an extremely good conductor of heat, so it takes the heat away, and that helps with thermal stability and vibration dampening. I mentioned earlier, each amplifier is 320 pounds. That's more than 3 times what Allison weighs. I always like to use Allison because she's like the metric system. You know, somebody came up with this idea that this is 1 centimeter. Well, Allison is our gauge for weight. So it's 320 pounds, 145 kilograms for the rest of the world. Dimensionally, it is 20.65 inches wide, 26.9 inches deep, and 10.37 inches high. So not small, not crazy big like the Apex, still big. For the rest of the world, it's 52.45 centimeters wide, 68.33 centimeters deep, and 26.34 centimeters high. Okay. All right, so we're going to now attempt to carry this beast over on the carpet so we can take the plastic off, and then once we're done, I'll show you the back of the amplifier, the connections, and the front where the meter is, and then we will attempt to place the amplifier on the amp stand, which won't be easy. All right, here we go. You sure you're okay?
Yep. It's on little skis.
Okay, ready. 1, 2, 3.
Holy shit.
Oh, God. Okay. All right, so we got the foam, so we'll have to lift this and grab the foam up. Okay, so we're going to tilt it this way.
Is one end particularly heavier?
Oh, you try this side.
Okay.
You try this side. Okay. So we'll tilt it and then we'll pull the foam up.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Tilt it, tilt it.
Nope. That side's supposed to come up.
Okay, put it down, put it down. Okay, let's see. We're going to tilt it all the way. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Okay, folks.
All right. Okay.
That is so heavy.
The 3 Musketeers. or the Three Stooges. All right. So, let's see. Plastic is like this. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to tilt it to the side, and then take the plastic off. Wow, look at that. Even at the bottom, it's so beautifully done. Ta-da! Wow, that is heavy. I think this feels heavier than the Apex. I don't know why, but it does.
We did only slide the Apex.
Okay, so next, before we put it in, because you won't be able to see it once we put it in, come around the back, Allison. So, let me just show you the back. So, first of all, a couple of things you'll notice. There are these inputs for triggering. So, if you've got a preamp or a surround sound processor, you can connect the trigger there. There's another one that daisy chains out. And then these are for the brightness of or intensity of the display. So, you can switch it and it'll light up more or less. Look at these binding posts. These are serious binding posts. Unfortunately, it only takes spades. So make sure, spades or bare wire, make sure that whatever speaker wire you use comes with spades. A pure design, a pure balanced design, I should say. Just now I didn't mention it. The amplifier is a pure balanced design, fully symmetrical, fully differential, so only has balanced inputs. And then that, of course, is your 240 volt connector. Now the power cable comes with this connector on this side, and then regular C15, I guess, connector on the other side to plug into your wall, and that's your main breaker on-off switch in the front. All right, so we're going to cut here. We're trying to maneuver this amplifier in that corner, and we will see you when we are back. Okay, so we've plugged this thing in. I should go into a couple of details first. As I showed earlier, it's a 240 volt connector on the back of the amplifier. The power cord comes with the amplifier, and so what you do is you line up the sockets, you push it in, and then you turn it clockwise to lock it, okay? And then there's a breaker on the back that you turn on, you flip to the left. All right, and then when that happens, you should see through the window here a little red LED. Can you see that? You see that? Okay, good. So now, moment of truth. Turning on, right underneath here somewhere, there should be an on-off switch. Oh, there we go. It's right over here for some reason, as opposed to in the center. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Now, that's got to be one of the biggest meters, at least a circular meter I've ever seen. So you just heard that? So the double click, that's also the DC servo that is checking to make sure there's no issues and the amplifier can turn on. So now the amp is on. All right. So we're going to connect this up to a system, start warming it up and playing it for the next little while, and I will report back with our first impressions. Thank you for watching another Uncrating video. I'm sure you've been bored. And if you have been, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, say you liked it, all the good stuff, comments below. Oh, you know what we should have done? I wish we had somehow been able to put this beast beside all the other D'Agostinos to give you an idea of how big it is. But it is definitely bigger than the Progression, which is already a very big amplifier. All right, see you again next time. Bye-bye.